I'm also a big fan of the senior senator from the great state of Alabama. He is Tommy Tuberville. What a great job. I never thought that he'd be a better senator than he was a coach, and he is, and he joins us now to talk about activities going on in Washington, D.C. and around the world. Coach, good afternoon. Thank you for being on with us again.
First thing I hear, y'all talking about peanut butter. What the heck's going on?
You know, you never know what you're going to get, Coach. It was we had Congressman Tim Burchett on, and I don't know if you know Tim from the House. He's up here in Tennessee, and he's eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches while they try to find them a Speaker of the House. And we started talking about peanut butter and jelly for some reason. I don't know why. You never know what you're going to get on the Matt Murphy Show, Coach.
No, I don't. How's it going up there, Matt?
We're holding down the fort, you know, trying to do good work on Super Talk. We appreciate you doing the same in Washington for the state of Alabama and for the country under some duress. It's my understanding that you're getting attention from some of the wrong people. I know you don't necessarily like to talk about this, but your job comes with its share of criticism, and some of that criticism has grown to threats. I don't like that.
No, I've gotten a couple of dozen death threats since I've been up here. Actually, they got a few of them in jail. They've called them, and, that happens. It didn't quite get that personal when I was coaching. It lasts a few days during coaching, but up here now, we got a lot of crazies. And last week, I think most people saw this former NSA director and CIA director pretty much say, hey, I need to be eliminated. And I mean, when somebody with that kind of background and that stature, people hear him talk, I mean, there's enough crazies out there that believe some of this stuff. So it's unfortunate it happened. Steve Marshall, the attorney general in the state of Alabama, come out today and kind of went after him. And they should go after this guy. It's not me, but it's going after a sitting United States senator because we don't jihad on the same political ideas that each other believe in. So it is what it is.
Well, Coach, your stand against this mass approval of certain nominations for the United States military is ongoing. You have said that you will not lift your blanket hold, but you certainly, they're well within their rights to allow nominees to proceed individually, which they've done on occasion. But now some are suggesting that you're somehow hurting the United States military, especially during these times with Israel at war with Hamas. What do you say? How do you speak back to that narrative that you are somehow hurting our military readiness?
Never let a crisis go to waste, and that's exactly what they're using here. They think that I'm the cause and the problem with what's going on in Israel. And by the way, that's a horrific deal that happened there. It's just Hamas needs to be eradicated. But it just shows you the intelligence of some of the people that work in the Pentagon, work in the White House here. I mean, we're dealing with an empty suit in the White House now. We could have left the White House empty and not had a president and done better than what this group's done over the last 3 years. And then you just go right on down the streets of the Pentagon, right across the Potomac, it'd be the same way. These people have no common sense. They care more about abortion than they do about national security, if that's their thoughts, because all they got to do is move it back to the old policy, which the Democrats voted on 35 years ago. They're the ones that passed it. Joe Biden even voted for it. And I did not like the way they did it by memo, because the people across the country deserve to vote on probably the most popular topic in our country in our lifetime, abortion. They deserve a right for their representatives to vote on this. And they don't think so. They want to dictate. They want to play communism out of the White House and Pentagon, and I'm not going to allow it.
Talk to me a little bit about what our role should be regarding Israel and Hamas and the war going on there. I'm of the opinion, Coach, that there are three ways for the American government to get involved. One is militarily, two would be financially or materially, and the other would be in solidarity with Israel and essentially there to say to other nations, let Israel respond as they must to eliminate Hamas. Where are you on all of this?
I agree with that last one totally. And this is, Israel is they deserve the right to go back and do what they need to do to protect their citizens, and not just theirs. You got to remember, we lost 30 Americans We still have a couple dozen maybe as hostages. This was an horrific attack. I've seen footage that other people hadn't seen. It's awful. I mean, these are animals. These are barbarians that come across the Gaza Strip there and did horrific damage to men, women, and children. And so they deserve to be able to fight back. And then let's go back to what the Americans should do. We should sit back, let people know we got their back. And we're doing right now, we've got 2 carrier groups out into the Mediterranean, but we should immediately put sanctions, not be giving money to Iran. Now, Iran is the backer of this. You got to remember, Iran is the tree of this. A branch on the tree is Hamas. Another branch on the tree is Hezbollah. But all the funding, all the training, all the support comes from the big tree called Iran. And we have to understand that. Now, President Trump had Iran basically bankrupt when he was in office. He sanctioned the heck out of them. They couldn't sell oil. They couldn't do anything. They were down to almost nothing in the bank. Since Joe Biden's been in office, they're almost $100 billion to the good. And Joe Biden has backed this. He's sponsored it. He's part of this in a roundabout way. People need to understand that the policies of the Biden administration absolutely helped Iran and Hamas and Hezbollah to engage in what they've engaged in.
One of our senators, Bill Hagerty, just released a press release saying that as a member of the Senate Banking and Foreign Relations Committee, he joined Senator Tim Scott in introducing the Revoke Iranian Funding Act. I know 22 other senators are amongst those supporting this. Do you support this as well? This would formalize out of the United States Senate the freeze of that $6 billion.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But, we can play games with this. Brett, the big thing with this is $6 billion it's a lot of money. But they're selling oil across this world and making tons of money. And it goes a couple of ways. Number one, we're allowing them to do it. And the other thing is we're not doing what we need to do in our oil production. People are buying oil from Iran that should be buying oil from us. Europe, for instance. I mean, Joe Biden, his fossil fuel and green energy plan is absolutely destroying the United States of America and other countries and helping the countries that don't need to be helped in terms of terrorism.
President Joe Biden is visiting tomorrow Israel. What do you hope, if anything, is accomplished out of that? You mentioned the empty suit narrative, which is, I observe it every day. Senator, you do as well. It feels like the world is burning around us. Domestically, we've got 2 separate organizations who are on strike. And these are private institutions, but that has financial ramifications. We're not seeing any energy production in the United States of America. Our southern border is porous. Who knows who's pouring across the southern border? And he's going to Israel to urge the Israelis proportionality in terms of their response. What would you hope would be accomplished out of a visit like that?
Well, as you said, the most important thing to me is our country first and our border. The first thing when he woke up after Hamas and Israel, that when they attacked Israel, he should call up the military, stop the border, cover it up, do not let anybody else through, because we have got more terrorists in this country than we've ever had in our lifetime. And we're going to have a problem in this country in the very near future, and it's all because of his policies at the border. I would hope that President Biden would get something done. I'm worried to death that we're on the verge of World War III because, reading the Bible. That's what it says. It's all going to end in the Middle East. So there's huge problems. And a lot of them have been caused, again, by this administration's policies. There have been nothing right for foreign relations or for the American people from Joe Biden and his empty suit clowns in the background. And so it scares me to death about what the future holds with what he's going to do and push in this instance. I'm sure there'll be a red line out there between Hezbollah. If you come in, we're going to get involved in all this kind of stuff. Whatever he does, he needs to back up. I remember when Obama talked about Syria, he drew that red line. They stepped over it, and he ran like a chicken. If the United States of America is ever going to get back on top in terms of the number one superpower in the world, we got to have leadership from people in Washington, D.C., and we've got very little as we speak.
Finally, Coach, and I know your time's limited here, but I know that it's a back burner issue for most in their psyche, the American people, but you've been working on the NIL deal and trying to figure out what the government's involvement is in it and whether or not we can formalize and make it a level playing field with regard to college athletics across the country. Is there any update on that?
Well, you're exactly right. And, we had a judiciary hearing today with Charlie Baker, the new NCAA director, a Big Ten commissioner, and former athletes and all that. It's a mess. You've seen it. I've seen it. We're headed in the direction of everything else that's gone bad in this country because of policies. Well, this is a policy here that, and I'm for athletes making money, but some of the numbers that you're seeing and some of the things that are going on right now with transferring and nobody's getting educated, you can't transfer and graduate in 4 years. It's impossible. And so what Joe Manchin and I tried to do is we tried to get education back involved in this, get some sanity back into it. Last week, Georgia voted in their state house to allow high school athletes to take money. What are we doing? What happened to education and moral values and all those things? Those come first. But that being said, hopefully we can get something done. We've got to go through the Commerce Committee with our bill. Ted Cruz is heading that up. I think we'll have an opportunity possibly to get something on the floor of the Senate, but the Democrats want to unionize everybody, including athletes, so it's going to be very hard to get that passed.
Coach, I know you'll keep us updated. Thank you for being on with us from time to time to update us on your efforts in Washington, D.C., and hold down Alabama for me. I'll be down there to see y'all soon.